You wouldn't build a house without a foundation, so why try to build a business without one? Grow your contracting business and grow your mind with Growth Mindset Monday. And now your host, Garrett Bake.
This is like the walkout for WWE. Pretty soon we're going to have the fireworks going. I'm going to have my whole entourage with me. I'll probably have like a lucha libre mask and just be walking out to the music. We're working on it though. We're working on it. We'll get it locked in one of these days. Welcome to Mindset Mondays. If you are here live, go ahead and drop your name, your business name, and where you're from so we can shout you out. Really excited for you guys to be with us today. Also, apparently, I'm not very good at this thing, and I'll admit that, but we do want you guys to subscribe to our channel. We do want you guys to like and follow us. Why? Because then you'll get notifications when we go live, when we have special events or trainings. We'd love to be able to share that with you. We got Alexis Escalante. Hello, welcome. Daniel Kappen with Noble Custom Glass, Mirror from Buford, Georgia. Welcome to the show. For you fathers that are out there watching today or listening, happy Father's Day. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the hard work that you put in being a good dad. We've got Matthew Zieptka, probably not pronouncing that right, out of Dallas. Dominic, SMT Services, and in Utah. What part of Utah, Dominic? Maybe we can grab some coffee one of these days or lunch or something like that. Well, Father's Day was this weekend, and I had a really good time. In fact, Justin and I were talking about this earlier. Father's Day was kind of unique for me because I'm on the other side of things, right? This weird, I call it no man's land, in that I have all my kids that are technically adults, but I don't have grandkids. So where do we land, right? I don't have the little kids writing me the notes, which I do miss. Justin will get those here pretty soon. I still got those from when my kids were little. And yeah, they do, bring a little tear to the eye. It's kind of nice. I like it. All right. We've got Jason Williams says, Happy Father's Day. Dominic, Salt Lake City. All right, my man. We'll have to get together one of these days for sure. We got Matt Pinkston, Bright Electric, Evansville, Indiana. Jason back on the show, the Handyman LLC from OKC. Alexis Escalante is from Miami-Dade County. Hot. Juan Alaya from Panama City Beach, Florida. Welcome. Brian Ashley, Handyman Can, Lawrenceville, Georgia. Got a lot of you guys. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you sharing with us. Well, I want to talk about something that was really interesting that happened this last week. And it's actually a good thing. I was having lunch with a good friend of mine, and he owns a company that's in the real estate space. So it's not in the contracting space, but it's in the real estate space. And what he realized about 5 years ago is there was a huge opportunity in the space that no one was taking advantage of, right? Now, a lot of you guys are familiar with real estate. You probably bought or sold a home over the years. Well, what happens? Well, you get an agent, and the agent writes a contract, right? And then there's behind the scene things that need to happen. You got to get a lockbox on the home. You got to get a sign put on the home. You got to get pictures and or video put on the home or on the home. You have all these things to prepare the house to sell, right? The problem is it's a very manual thing. And not only is it a very manual thing, but you got to call the photographer, the videographer. Then you got to call the lockbox company. Then you got to call the sign company. And it's all these different moving parts to try and get one thing done. And that is prep the house for sale. And so Graham, my good friend, said, I saw this opportunity and I said, it's not that the things don't need to happen, because they do. But is there a better way or a faster way or a more efficient way to make them happen? And so he created a company. His company is called Obio, O-B-E-O. Shout out to Obio. He created this company called Obio. And here's what they do. You're a realtor. You could be in Austin or you can be in Anchorage, Alaska. It doesn't matter where you are throughout this great country. You can log into their platform. You could say, here's the address and here's the package of pictures that I want. Here's when I want the lockbox and the sign installed. And then they take care of all of that for you. They shoot your videos, they record everything, and then they turn around and they give you the finished product so you can just post it on your listing and off you go. Pretty ingenious, I would say. Now, his company, I won't reveal how much it's worth because he won't let me, but let's just say multiple 8 figures. All around doing what somebody was already doing, but doing it better. right? Doing it faster, doing it more efficiently. And that's kind of the theme for today. Got a couple more shout outs though before we get started. We got Brandon DeLucia, Handyman Hustler, Home Services, Marietta, Georgia. Robin King, I Do Handyman, says, howdy ho, neighbors. Howdy ho. Must be a thing from the South because I don't ever say howdy ho to anybody. In fact, I'd probably get slapped in some of the places that I go if I called them howdy ho. And Dallas Turner, welcome to the show. I want to give you a couple of examples. I'm a big sports guy. I was one of those wannabe athletes, and I will openly admit it, wannabe athletes. I was good in high school, but not good enough. In fact, my scholarship offers came from Division III colleges, not one, not two, but three, which I think is still above community college, but not by much. So I had a couple of Division III scholarship offers in football and in track. Ended up pursuing a different path that didn't take advantage of those. But love sports, man. There's so many analogies to real life. I love competition. I love seeing people struggle and then triumph, everything about the thing. But there's a couple of athletes, and I'm going to pick one particular sport. There's a couple of athletes that I've admired over the years, right? The first one, you're all familiar with him, Michael Jordan. And people are like, why was Michael Jordan so successful at what he did? How did he end up winning 6 championships? Right? Was it a supporting cast? Well, I don't know. Do you think Dennis Rodman was really that good of a basketball player? Scottie Pippen? Maybe. I don't know. Average at best, right? But what made Michael Jordan elite, right? Better than everyone else. Now, if you don't know the backstory about Michael Jordan, he actually got cut from his freshman basketball team. Cut. Like, you're not good enough for the 15 guys on the team. Sorry, you're not going to play this year, right? Cut. And at that point, he had a decision to make. And the decision was, how am I going to make myself better? Or am I just going to like turn out like everybody else? Maybe get a job, maybe not, and just kind of manage my way through life. So Michael Jordan decided, of course, that he was going to double down on himself. And he did. And he committed to himself in the morning, before school, after school, training, shooting, practicing. And then obviously we know what happened from there. But here's the interesting part. Tim Grover was the personal trainer for Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and some of these other basketball stars. You can look him up. Great dude. He's got a couple of really good books. So Tim Grover was talking about Michael Jordan's routine. And he said, when I first started working with Michael Jordan, it was more about injury prevention, right? The first couple of years that he started working with him, injury prevention. And what happened the first couple of years of Michael Jordan's career? Well, he didn't win any championships. I mean, he was good, but he didn't win any championships. And then Michael Jordan went to Tim Grover and said, I want to take this thing to the next level. I don't want to be elite. I want to be the elite of the elite. So Tim said, all right, well, button up your chin strap. Here we go. And so Tim created a routine for him. Now in the off season, that was anywhere from, I think, 2 to 3 or more hours a day of training. But then it also carried over into the season. Michael Jordan, from what I'm aware of, was the first athlete to lift weights after a basketball game. So he would play an entire 4 quarters, 40 to 48 minutes, good game, shake hands, fist bump. And instead of going partying, instead of going back to the hotel, instead of going out to dinner, he would go to the weight room and he would bust out a workout, at least an hour-long workout, right? So people are like, why was he so strong? Why was he so good at what he did? Well, it's because he went above and beyond what everyone else did. But here's the crazy part. It wasn't the thing that he did once or twice or 3 times. It was his commitment to the process. Now, you guys have heard the saying before, trust the process. Well, what the hell is the process? Have you ever asked yourself that? Trust the process. Hey, that's a cool shirt. But then what? What does it mean? And most people don't know what it means. Okay. And I'm going to key in on a few people here, and then we're going to talk about this exact thing, the process. Okay. Example number 2, Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Kobe. An amazing basketball player. Some people hated him. They hated him because he was so damn competitive. There's a story of the Olympics, right? And I forget what year it was, but Paul Gasol, who played for Spain, was actually his teammate on the Lakers. So they were friends. They were teammates, right? They grinded together. They sweated. They bled, everything, all that stuff together. But in the Olympics, Kobe Bryant saw him as exactly what he was, which was the opponent. And he didn't want the opponent to think he was soft. So first play of the game, ball comes in, gets passed to Paul Gasol. Paul Gasol passes it and then goes to set a screen on Kobe. Kobe takes Paul Gasol out. He doesn't tackle him, but everything short of tackling him drops him to the ground and then just stares at him. That's how competitive Kobe Bryant was. That's how much he wanted to win, right? Now, Kobe's training routine was Michael Jordan's training routine, but probably a little more intense. He would usually train in the offseason 3 to 4 hours at a time. That included weight training, that included basketball drills, that included cardio. Because he didn't want to be the guy in the fourth quarter with his hands on his knees, gasping for air, trying to call a timeout. He wanted to be the guy in the fourth quarter with the ball in his hands and the confidence and the coolness and the calmness to take that winning shot and make it, right? Kobe Bryant. Steph Curry, arguably the greatest shooter of all time. Whether you like the Golden State Warriors or not is irrelevant. Steph Curry is one hell of a shooter. When that guy gets on, he is on, right? Change an entire game. On the offseason, Steph Curry takes 1,000 shots a day, 1,000 shots from different places. During the season, 500 shots a day. Think about how many shots he's taken over the years. How many shots, right? And so people ask, well, how is he able to hit that crossover fadeaway in the corner with a hand in his face? Well, because he's practiced it thousands of times, right? 3 examples, 1 sport. But I want you to key in on something, okay? Now I'm going to give you 2 more examples, one from a different sport, one from something completely different, business. And I want you to see how this relates to exactly what we're talking about. The first one, Michael Phelps. Now, if you don't know who Michael Phelps is, Google him, please. Arguably the greatest swimmer of all time for the United States, especially. They won Olympics, won 9 gold medals, right? 9 gold medals. But here's the crazy thing about Michael Phelps. They asked him why he was so successful at swimming. Was it the amount of carbs that he ate? Was it his training routine? What was it? And Michael Phelps looked in the camera and said, the reason I'm as successful as I am is because I spent 5 years and I didn't miss a day of training. 5 years. For those of you who are listening, that includes the weekends. 5 years of training to get to the level where he was above the elite in the world. 5 years, right? So you're probably thinking to yourself right now, man, that's crazy. I can't even keep a diet for 4 days. And here he is for 5 years. I've done 75 hard. In fact, I did 75 hard twice in a row. So that would put me at 150 days. That's 150 days. That's nowhere near 5 years, right? So we talk about mindset. We talk about what elite means, okay? But there's another piece to this. And back to what I said when I was talking about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan committed to something called the process. Steph Curry committed to something called the process. Michael Phelps, Kobe Bryant committed to something called the process, right? And the process is what makes you better. We're going to talk about the process. Here's a business example of the process. How many of you guys like Starbucks? Even if you're pro-American, I guarantee you probably had Starbucks in your life. Whatever the coffee joint, not here to talk about the coffee joint. I'm here to talk about Howard Schultz, who's the one who blew up Starbucks, right? Sent it worldwide. In fact, nowadays, you go into a parking lot, you probably have a freestanding Starbucks in the corner and then one in a store inside the same parking lot, right? That's how big Starbucks is. But what made Starbucks what it is today? Where you can go in and order your caramel macchiato with whipped cream and a cherry on top and drink it with your thumb in the air. You know, I know who I'm talking to out there, right? Or you like your coffee black, whatever it is. But Starbucks, right? What made them elite? Well, here's a perfect example. So Howard Schultz, he's not the CEO anymore, but when he was the CEO of Starbucks, he was doing some store checks, random store checks. He's in the Midwest for some meetings. He decided to stop by his store. He walks into the front door of the Starbucks. Nothing special about the Starbucks, just a regular Starbucks with a drive-through, a few people inside. He walks in, and the first thing that he notices when he looks up is that the light bulb at the entrance is out. It's not working, right? Now, what did Howard do in that moment? here's a question for you. And I'd love to hear your answer in the comments. Did he replace the light bulb? Did he go back to the supply room, grab a light bulb and replace it, right? Get it done super quick. And he's done it over with. Did he go get the store manager and tell the store manager, hey, your light bulb is out. You might want to fix that. Or did he do nothing? Absolutely nothing. What do you think Howard Schultz did? Go ahead and drop it in the comments. He changed it himself. He had the store manager change it, or he did absolutely nothing. What did Howard Schultz do? While we're playing the Jeopardy music and waiting for your responses, we'll shout out a couple more folks that showed up on the call. We got Andres de la Garza, Andy and Mike with DLG Construction. Welcome. Bobby Morris, welcome. We got John at McMahon Enterprises. Welcome to the show. All right, we got some answers coming in. Barry says he did it himself. All right, fair enough answer. What do you guys think that he did? Did he do it himself? Did he have the store manager do it? Or did he do nothing? John says went to the store manager. All right. For the sake of time, I'm going to tell you what he did. He did not change it himself. He did not have the store manager do it. He did absolutely nothing. Now, it seems counterintuitive, right? But here's what he did. He went back to Starbucks HQ. He brought his management team in and he said, what is our process for changing a light bulb that's not working? And they didn't have one, which is why the light bulb was burnt out and nobody did anything about it. So what do? They created a process. Boom. If the light's out, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, off you go. Right? That is the process. Okay. So this is what I want you to think about today when we start talking about this. What is the process? Now, when you say it like that, it could be anything, right? I don't want you to think big picture when it comes to the process. For today, I want you to think individual, simple terms. So let's look at marketing. We talk a lot about marketing on the show because marketing is super important and everyone needs to market. You don't market, you don't have sales, you don't have a business. But when I ask you, what is your marketing process? What are you going to tell me? Are you going to tell me that you smile really big and you give out treats to your current clients and then kindly ask them for referrals? Is it that you post on Facebook and talk about how awesome you are and then you wait for the phone to ring? Is it that you have a dialed-in campaign, you know who your ideal target audience is, you have a pay-per-click campaign on Google that brings in your leads and you immediately follow up with them? What is it? In the grand spectrum of things, what is it that your marketing process looks like? And by the way, if you don't have one, that's okay. Just admit that you don't have one, right? Now, most contractors do not have a process when it comes to marketing. They don't. But I will tell you that every contractor that is doing multiple 7 figures does. On our podcast last week, I interviewed a good friend of mine, Tim Brown. He has an exterior and rain gutter company, RGS Exteriors. Last year, they did about 14 million. This year, they'll do between 16 and 17 million. His marketing process is what we call omni-channel. That means it's across multiple platforms, hitting multiple audiences consistently. So when he told me we had our best month ever in May, we generated over $1.5 million in sales, I don't have to ask him how or why, because I know that he knows, right? So this is the conversation that we're talking about, right? Do you have a marketing process? A process that you can follow repeatedly that will inevitably make you better, make you more money, so on and so forth, right? Everything inside of your contracting business is tied to a process. Now, If you knew me when I was younger, you would be like, who the hell is this guy talking about a process when this guy can't pay attention for more than 5 seconds? It is true. Naturally, I have ADD and I have a hard time staying focused, which is why I had to create processes in my life that allowed me to stay focused on the thing that I need to focus on, right? Now, marketing is a process. Sales is a process. Running your jobs, guess what? A process. Doing your books, also a process. Hiring, a process. Training, a process. Leadership, a process. Everything inside of your business is a process. So if you're not at 7 figures or more today, I guarantee you that if you were to implement very simple processes across all of these areas, your business would change dramatically. See, the problem that we have as humans is we're very emotional. I'm very emotional. I went with my sons to a rugby game, a rugby match, I guess it's called, the other day. And I'm yelling and screaming. I have no idea what I'm yelling and screaming about because I still don't understand all the rules of rugby, right? But I'm very emotional. I like to get into things, right? Get super excited. That's why I love sports. But the problem that I had is that I wasn't tied to a process. I wasn't tied to a process when it came to a morning routine. I wasn't tied to a process when it came to my physical health. I wasn't tied to a process when it came to my relationship with my wife. Oh yes, there are processes in every aspect of your life, my friends, right? So let me ask you right now, and I want to hear you in the comments, what is the process that you think is missing from your business right now, right? The one that's burning a hole in your business, the one that keeps you up at night, the one that has you stressed out, the one that has you distracted from what you should be doing. What is that process that's missing inside of your business? Is it marketing? Is it sales? Is it the way you're running your jobs? Is it your hiring and your team and your training? Is it your books, your financials? Like, what is it? Go ahead and drop it in the comments. Now, I had to be reminded of this. So thank you, Justin. While you guys are writing your comments, remember, like, subscribe, follow. We want to make sure you guys get notified when we go live with all of our content. The process then, okay? The process is burning the biggest hole in your pocket right now, burning the biggest hole in your business. Think about that. What is that process? Or we should say the lack of process. Now, when I talk to contractors day in and day out, and we work with them, it doesn't matter if you're doing $10,000 a month or if you're doing $1 million a month. All of your problems are going to center around one of these areas. Just like Howard Schultz, when we started talking about Starbucks and the light bulb. Just like Michael Phelps in the pool. He wasn't elite because he wasn't committed to the process, right? The process of becoming elite. Now for him, process included training, nutrition, recovery, right? Same thing for Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Steph. They're all the same. It's the process that made him elite, right? Sure, they bring some skills to the table. It's the process that makes them elite. So John says, don't have a process. Do what I was advised to do. Mailing cards, Facebook posts, sign on a truck, all very poor results to where I may have to shut down the business. John, man, that is rough, right? And I can feel your pain inside of that message. I personally don't believe you need to shut down that business, right? I believe what you got to do is go down back to the basics. Who do I want to work with? Where are they at? How do I build relationships with them? Period. Right? You can hustle your way to 100,000. You can hustle your way to 1 million, right? Nothing complicated when it comes to the process. Just super simple. So if your marketing isn't working, you have to ask yourself, why isn't it working? Right? And since John responded, we're going to dive into this just for a little bit. So John, the first thing you got to ask yourself is, who do you want to work with, man? Who do you want to work with? Now, if you don't know who you want to work with, that might be the case. Look back and say, who have I done work with that I've enjoyed doing the work for? Look back, right? Because you're going to have clients that you never want to see them again. Like you're like, pay me. In fact, I don't even care if you pay me at this point. I just want to be done with this thing. But look at the ones that you enjoyed working with, right? And start to figure out the answers to a few questions. Number one, what kind of work was it? Right? What kind of activity were you doing for these people? Number two, where do they live? Like, what areas of town do they live in? Number three, you might have the answer, you might not, but let's get into the demographics. Married, kids, age, what do they do for work? Right? You're starting to identify this person. When we do this exercise, by the way, this is for all of you, you should be able to close your eyes and see this person. See this person, right? That's what you want to see. My ideal contractor that I want to work with is not a contractor who's starting out. So no offense to you guys who are starting out. That's not the person I want to work with. Why? Because my solutions are at a higher level. So when I close my eyes and I picture this is a contractor that still has the boots on, still has the tool belt on, has the phone in his hands, has the laptop in his car, is running sales, marketing, is trying to make sure the jobs are getting done right, is staying up late at night doing bids and making sure his books are balanced, doesn't spend any time with his family, eats like crap. Like, this is the person that I want to work with, right? So John says, homeowners, realtors, you're a high-end carpenter. Yeah, I totally get it, right? But again, you got to dig into this thing. And in fact, we're going to get you guys a resource that'll help you dig into this a little bit more. Okay. So we're going to get you a free resource for that. But what I want you to understand is everything is a process. The process for identifying your ideal target audience, if you want to call it that, or whatever name you have for it, ICP. The point is, who do you really want to work with, right? Need a process for identifying that person. You need a process for consistently getting in front of that person. You need a process for consistently closing that person. You need a process to consistently get the work done. You need the process to consistently get paid, period. So just put something simple together for now. Let's say, for example, you already know who you want to work with, right? So if you know you want to work with, let's figure out a simple marketing process. If we see this simple marketing process for what it is, okay, we know who we want to work with. Now we're just identifying where are they or who has access to them and what am I going to do for them? That's simple. There's a cabinet company I work with. Guess what? They want to work with more builders. Cool. The first thing that we did was identify the type of builders they want to work with. They don't want to work with production builders, the big dogs. They want to work with the small to medium-sized builders. Okay. Doing anywhere between 10 and 50 homes a year. So we made a list. Okay. That was number one. Now we've got the list. What do we got to do? We got to go figure out where they're at or who already has access to them. So one of those was the Home Builders Association. There's a lot of builders inside the Home Builders Association. So they went there and they started building relationships with them there. Then the other thing they did was like, hey, I've got their addresses. Let me stop by. Let me stop by and drop off goodies, right? So they dropped off goodie bags. And they got to know the person at the front desk. And then eventually they got to know the purchasing manager. Then eventually they got to know the project manager, right? So they built a $3.5 million a year company doing that. No Facebook ads, no pay-per-click, no mailers, no nothing. Now, that's just an example. It doesn't mean you can't do these other things, right? But a very simple example. If you're starting out, honestly, more than just starting out, if you're doing less than $500,000 a year, don't spend any money on ads. You don't need to. Now, I know that's going to rile some of your feathers, right? Because everybody says ads, you need ads. Hey, we guarantee you 10 to 60 new leads if you just do this and pay us money. Don't need ads. Don't need ads. You can do it without it. Back to the topic of conversation, the process. What I want you guys to know is the more that you trust the process, as we said at the beginning, the more success you'll have. And this is not a trust the process of like, well, I went out and I contacted 10 people and none of them said that they wanted to do work with me. Well, congratulations. That's like going to the gym for 2 weeks and expecting to have a six-pack. Word. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Okay. Trust me, I've tried. There's no such thing as 2 weeks six-pack. I'm back on the meal plan, in case you're wondering. Except for yesterday when I had cherry pie for Father's Day. But other than that, we're doing pretty good. Back on it. Let's go. Right? Your success is going to be tied much less to your skill level and much more to the process. Because believe it or not, it's the process that will increase your skill level. Some of you guys know who Alex Hermosi is. He's a great marketer. He sold his first company, which was a gym, teaching gym owners how to build their business. Sold his first company for just shy of 50 million. He's exited, I think, 9 companies for a total of 200 million, and he's on his way to becoming a billionaire, right? Now, he talks about the process, and he says, you're going to pay a price. Either way, you're going to pay a price, right? But the price that you're paying at the beginning is the price to get better. That's the price you're paying. And most people aren't willing to pay the price. That's my challenge to you, is be willing to pay the price. Not today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, but lock in the process and be willing to pay the price for 12 months. Come back in 12 months. Here's my challenge to you. Come back in 12 months, locked in and committed to your process every single day, and tell me that your business isn't better. In fact, tell me that you wouldn't be better than 98% of the companies out there. You would. It's just your willingness to commit to the process. All right, we're at the end of this conversation. Listen, in the chat, we dropped something for you. It's our free contractor business scorecard. If you're not sure where it is that you're really struggling right now, and I get it, there's a lot of different areas, but if you're not sure which one the biggest area is, take our free assessment. It's a free scorecard. We got, I think, 20 questions that take you less than 5 minutes, but you're going to have a clear understanding of where it is that your business is at right now and what area you should focus on first. All right. That's all we got for you guys. Remember, like, subscribe, follow us, share this with your friends. We want to build this group so we can build you up. All right. You know what time it is. It's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1. Off. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Mindset Mondays. Thank you for joining us and being a part of this incredible journey to not just be great at what you do, but to live a great life too. Remember, every tool, tip, and story shared here is a step towards building your dream, both on and off the job site.